Welcome to the Voice of the American Supply Chain. This is Brian Devine, and we'll be giving you an update on the most recent labor data available. And we'll also be sharing some insights from some of the companies on the front lines of the recovery. America is getting back to work, and we know it's not the same for everyone. And as we're navigating this new reality, there are lessons to be learned from the supply chain organizations that are getting back to work first. The health and safety of employees is what will get us back to work and keep us working. And for those of you who have missed our earlier series on health and safety, I recommend that you take a look at our Back to Work Safety Resource Guide. It gives lots of practical information, and it's available from your local EmployBridge contact. We also know that every state is on a different timeline, and even counties within states are at different phases of recovery. And finally, we don't know what the economy will look like in the future, so there's lots of uncertainty out there. Here are the most recent labor statistics. The official U.S. unemployment rate jumped to 14.7% in April, which is the highest since the Great Depression, but that's only part of the story. If you include those workers who have been temporarily furloughed, the unemployment rate would be much closer to 20%. And to put that in perspective, just 12 weeks ago, our unemployment rate was 3.6%. As you can see by this graph, a staggering 36 million workers have filed for unemployment benefits in the last 9 weeks. But there are some bright spots. As you may know, Indeed is one of the largest job boards in the country, and they've just reported the biggest increase in new job openings in the last 8 weeks. So in addition, here at EmployBridge, we're seeing week-over-week increases in contingent labor demands. So while the economy looks different state by state, a recovery is inevitable. And there are some lessons that we can take away from those who are experiencing the first wave of the recovery. The first lesson learned is that there's new competition for talent. We've touched upon this in our first series, but now we're seeing it play out. In some pockets of the country, we're hearing from customers who are seeing a rise in their labor demand, but they're having trouble filling all of their open job orders because they're now competing with the unemployment payments that people are receiving. And the combination of state and federal weekly unemployment checks may be having the unintended consequence of actually discouraging workers to go back to work. Many blue-collar workers right now may receive more money by staying at home and collecting unemployment payments than they would if they returned to their jobs. We're seeing some of our customers issue temporary pay increases to attract enough workers to meet their labor demands. For example, one logistics company increased their hourly pay rates by $1.70 an hour through the end of May, and that reduced their days to fill open jobs from 4 days down to just a day and a half. Another company, a wholesale company, has been extremely busy, and they needed just hundreds and hundreds of employees. And they were able to increase their pay by $1.75 through June. That saw an 80% improvement in their fill rates. Some companies simply can't increase pay rates. And for those companies, employees need to make it clear that their number one priority is the health and safety of their employees. So some of the best practices that don't cost a lot of money, it includes over-communicating the health and safety measures that you've taken, making sure that you have a plan in place to respond to a positive COVID-19 case. Companies shouldn't wait until they have their first incident to create a plan. Companies have to establish some flexibility and some staggered shifts to accommodate the social distancing. And also, you have to be aware of the stress levels that some associates may be under. For EmployBridge customers, there are resources that are available at no cost to you or to the associates. For example, our branches offer life assistance through local resources for things like food and transportation and housing. And our Life Skills Studio offers associates basic stress management and household budgeting courses online. Another lesson is that with the higher unemployment comes a higher volume of job applicants, and many of those applicants are unqualified for the job to which they're applying. In many markets, we're seeing a 60% increase in applications for each job we have posted. And this can cause a strain on your HR department as they need to weed out a large number of unqualified workers. It's an ideal time for companies to lean on us as your staffing partner to manage that burden. For example, at EmployBridge, we have a 200-person call center that can manage that large volume of applicants. And our proprietary tools and industry-specific testing allows us to quickly identify the most qualified associates. For one of our customers who needed to hire 1,000 applicants quickly, we were able not only to fill all of those positions and then some, but we're also able to increase the retention of those workers by 30%. The final lesson learned is how to protect the bottom line when no one really knows what the economy will bring. With so much uncertainty, our advice is to use a higher level of contingent staff. We learned this lesson after the 2008 and 2009 recession, and we're seeing companies today plan on using a higher number of contingent workers over the next 6 to 12 months. Contingent labor also saves costs on an hourly basis. This example uses national averages, of course, which will vary by state, but for the sake of illustration, if you're hiring a $15 an hour employee, by the time you pay employment taxes, employee benefits, and the cost of recruiting and training that employee would be about $26.93 an hour. If you hired a contingent worker, receiving that same $15 an hour pay rate, at a bill rate of, say, $22.50 an hour, the staffing company assumes all of the other employment-related expenses, saving you $4.43 an hour or $9,200 per employee per year. Thank you again for joining us. This is the fourth and our final session in the Voice of the American Supply Chain series in response to COVID-19. You can access previous videocasts, presentations, and tools at www.employbridge.com/supply-chain-voice. And during these rapidly changing and uncertain times, we hope we were able to provide you with some timely and valuable insights, bringing you the best practices from the front lines of the supply chain. Remember that your local representatives from each of our specialty brands are available to provide you with additional staffing advice and solutions. So if you have any topics that you'd like us to cover in the future, send us an email. Until then, stay safe and well, and together we can continue to get work done.